I always, well, not always, but I have had in my life quite a few times younger women coming up to me and saying, and sort of like very shyly saying, asking me a question, a very personal question that they're kind of like hesitant about, you know, should I ask her, should I not ask her? And that it comes out, you know, are you okay with not having children?
Are you okay with not having children?
Yeah, it always sort of...
Let's start here. What would it mean to be okay or not okay? Like when people ask that, what do you think they're really asking? What do they want to know?
I think it's a very big question because I think their partner usually is the one who's, you know, who differs in opinion. Like they're asking themselves, like, is it okay that I don't have children? Because everyone else is having them. And they're usually women who don't want to have children. You know, so they're looking at me and it's like, well, she seems okay.
Do you think there's still a stigma attached to not having children?
Most people, I think, want to have children, want to have families. And I mean, when I was young and sort of childbearing years, I didn't want to have children. So that's the difference between, you know, me and most people. But then when I got to like my 30s, the biological clock kicked in and it was like, you need to have a child right now. Like, you need to get that out the way. You know, like the hormones were just like, and I probably would have made a really good mom, but circumstances were that I didn't have a boyfriend at the time and I wasn't really financially stable. And then I was like not in my right mind. I mean, I grew up in a situation where I didn't have really great role models, I don't think. Not for that, not for parenting, you know, so yeah.
So what was your background? And what do you mean by that?
Well, my background's Italian, so fertile. Gotta have the children, and everyone was having like 2 whatever children. My family were like, you're doing what? You're being a vegetarian, you're moving in with your boyfriend? That's great. Like, what are you thinking? Like, I was the black sheep of the family. But I don't know, I was always really inquisitive and I always asked a lot of questions and I always wanted to get to the truth of everything. And I had my eyes wide open all the time. So when you know, I looked around at like family situations and how families the dynamics and everything, I was like, I don't know about this. You know, like I don't see the right kind of support that someone actually needs in this family structure. I felt like there was some real dysfunction. I have my own problems and my family had to deal with, like they had their own internal problems and we saw it all. You know, we were subjected to it and we were, you know, we were the product of their, you know, dysfunction.
I do.
Right.
Yeah. I do, and I think that's why I want children so badly, but at the same time there is this red line, that kind of, just like a baseline that is, you can't do that because you come from too much crazy. And we don't know what's gonna pop up, you know, and sometimes I'm so impatient with myself that I wonder, what kind of parent would I make if I can't even be patient with me? How would you define what it means to be a mother?
The first description that pops up is to nurture. You know, like if you're mothering something, you're really nurturing it. And you're actually also feeding it. You know, so it's not just about being a caretaker, it's about teaching. I mean, even in the animal kingdom, you see the mother feeding the cub, but then she's also teaching it how to hunt, you know, and how to eat and what to eat and what to stay away from, blah, blah, blah. So, you know, you're corralling, you're nurturing and looking after your flock or your kids or family. I mean, you could be a mothery kind of person and not have kids, but you're always looking after people and you're always like gathering them around, making sure they're okay. And, you know, some mothers are not nurturing. Some mothers don't know how to nurture. And that was always a question to me, like, should they have been a mother? You know.
I'm examining that in my life right now. Should my mother have been a mother? Because I don't think she should have.
Yeah.
And I'm not even sure, as a woman, she really wanted that. And if she did really want it, she may have wanted it for reasons that are probably too selfish to be beneficial for the child.
Well, I think education, plays a huge role in everything. I think that's why you get third world countries that are just procreating. They're not really making decisions on educated, information. They're still making decisions on what their bodies are able to do and what they should be doing and what's culturally traditional to do. So even though I think people have been given this ability to make decisions that are not instinctual, they're still not doing it. And I think it's just down to education. I mean, you get someone who's more educated and they're like, well, population is here, our resources are here, because at the back of my mind, I've always justified myself not having kids by saying, well, God, the world's so overpopulated. I think we should maybe refrain, do you want at least just 2 kids each or 1 kid each? I mean, that could be too much, but, I think that would solve a huge sort of world problem. But, so I think we're not really addressing it from that standpoint. I think everyone's just still floundering with that. And I think that it's also sort of scary for some people to not do a traditional thing, to do something that's a road less traveled, more or less, because then they're by themselves, So you have that, well, I don't want to be by myself. I need to have kids around me, and I need to have a family, and I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying either. I'm just saying that I think that education is really at the root of most of our problems.